Hey guys, Chris here with Jeff Maddow from the Lifestyle Accountant. He's a certified public accountant who's now working location independently and showing others how they can do the same on his website, www.lifestyleaccountant.com. So Jeff and I connected via Twitter, and as a graduate of accounting myself, I found it really interesting that accounting, a career that seemed to me to be very location dependent, could be something that you could take remote. So why don't you introduce yourself and tell the audience a little bit about your story?
Well, first off, Chris, thanks for having me on the show. Like you said, I came across Chris on Twitter when I searched digital nomad accountants in Chiang Mai. And unfortunately, I found out that you were a former accountant. You're no longer practicing. And my whole thing is I wanted to promote accountants to become location independent. Right now, you're probably stuck in your boring office job, working 9 to 5, and you're not going to get to experience a place like Thailand, like where we're at. So I spent almost a decade trying to figure out how I can work remotely and live location independently and enjoy my job, because I didn't want to wait till 65 to retire and be miserable.
So where did this whole, you said 10 years is a long time, how did this kind of feeling of wanting to travel and wanting to have more freedom to live abroad and do what we're doing now, had that sort of come about? Was it a certain travel experience, or just were you always into travel as a younger person as well?
Well, when I was 16, I had the opportunity to travel with my grandparents to Spain, and I spent 2 months in Spain, and that was such a great experience. But when I got into the real world working full time, I realized that I'm not going to be able to take 2 months off to travel. I only get 2-week vacation. So that wasn't going to work for me. So I set out to figure out a way that I could work remotely and travel as well.
And you were working as an accountant at the time?
That's right, yeah.
Okay. Or you were studying accounting? Or?
I started off with internships and then worked my way up to corporate accounting full time, and then I've worked in public accounting, government accounting, tax preparation.
Okay.
I've seen all the different sectors of accounting.
Okay, so it's something that you wanted to be an accountant, but you just wanted to be location independent with it as well, have more flexibility, right?
Yeah, exactly. I actually like accounting, but I wanted the ability to pursue my passions outside of the profession, which the traditional workplace isn't really set up to allow me to do that.
Yeah, okay. So how does it work now that you're able to work out here in Chiang Mai? You were telling me a little bit about it when we were having coffee the other day, but you have this specific arrangement working with a partner, and yeah, I'll just let you explain what you were explaining to me the other day.
Sure. The first thing I did was I set up a blog. I wanted to share my experience, my frustrations with the accounting profession, and just connect with like-minded accountants. And the CEO of the firm that I partnered with, Codex, they reached out to me because they saw what I was blogging about and saw that, yeah, this is what most young accountants feel like. And they wanted to expand across the world, and their first stop was the U.S. So I became the first American partner, and I'm able to work remotely because I can have virtual meetings online. It's completely paperless, and it's less focused on data entry and being in an office.
So it seems to me, and I always thought this, that what holds accountants back from being able to work remotely is not so much that they can't do their job remotely. It's more the culture and having open-minded employers that are open to that, open to having people work around the world and not necessarily have to come into an office. So it's interesting you found, through your blog, you found somebody who shared that similar mindset and values, right?
Yeah, well, it really helped with the fact that Chris is a couple years younger than me, so he gets it, and he has like this really great passion for accounting profession, and he wants to make it a better world for accountants. And so he's leading the way, and I was very happy to be able to connect with him and work with him.
Okay. And how does it work? Because it's like you're not employed, right, by this company. You actually partner with them, and that allows you to use their infrastructure, but you bring in your own clients as well. Is that how it works?
That's right. It's sort of like a freelance accounting setup.
Yeah.
You basically find your own clients. You can work as much as you want or as little as you want. So you can work 3 days in Thailand, or you can work 7 days a week in New York, like wherever you want to work from, and you build your own book of business. But they have the infrastructure and the technology and the knowledge to be able to do it.
That's awesome. Yeah, one of the things that I actually did an interview, I don't think it got published, but I did an interview with somebody, and they asked me, why didn't you just stick with accounting? You could do that remotely. But I think correct me if I'm wrong, but it's still something you need to, go to university for, and perhaps, be chartered or certified public accountant, and then to be able to have those qualifications to do it. It's not something you can just, learn overnight and then start freelancing, right?
That's right. You really do need your accounting degree because you learn a lot of technical things, and I really suggest most accountants get the CPA, or if you're in another country, get the CA, but it's not an absolute requirement. I think one of the most underused skills is sales and marketing for accountants. So if you're a hustler and you want to, build your book of business, you're going to have to be a really good salesman, not necessarily rely on that piece of paper that says you got your license.
Okay. But in terms of minimum qualifications, is there any chance that somebody that didn't do a degree or didn't do a CPA could kind of do this? Or I guess it's different in each country, or the rules and regulations. Is there a chance that somebody could start doing, I guess maybe an opportunity could be bookkeeping, perhaps, that's something you don't necessarily need a certification for, right?
Yeah, you could become a bookkeeper. You don't need an accounting degree, but you're really going to have to be self-taught then. You're going to have to learn the skills to be able to up your game and take online courses and learn those accounting skills through other methods. But accounting is the language of business, so you have to learn that language.
Yeah, something that I'm always looking to do with Chris the Freelance is to show people that that regardless of where they're at, they can build a career in something location independent. And but I guess the big message here is if you're already working in accounting, or I'm sure this similar thing is happening with other traditional careers, like being a lawyer and those other kind of jobs. If you're already an accountant, there is hope. You can still do what you're doing and do that remotely. So on that, how would you suggest others go about it? How would you suggest if an accountant is watching this right now and wants to do what you're doing, how would you recommend they go about that?
Well, the first thing I do is check out my website, because I put together the ultimate guide for finding a remote accounting job. And in there is the various websites across the internet that you can find these jobs, because they're not very common at this point. The accounting profession is slow to change. But there's also a link to some resources that will help you create a flexible work arrangement with your current employer, so you don't have to quit your job necessarily right away. If you're a top performer and they want to keep you, they're going to want to work with you on giving you what you want. So one of the things that I've done with my past job was I wanted to work less. I wanted to have time to travel and take trips. So I negotiated a work schedule where I would get 1 week off a month, and I was able to pursue my other passions and travel. And that was because I was a top performer at my job. I had a good relationship with my boss. So if you have those things, you can work with your current employer. You don't have to leave necessarily.
Okay. Again, this is not something I have expertise with, but if you want to know more about all of that stuff, definitely check out lifestyleaccountant.com. Thanks so much, Jeff, for coming on the show and showing that accountants can go remote as well. All right.
Yeah. Thank you, Chris.
Nice. All right. See you guys, and I'll catch you on the next video.
That retreat was the perfect excuse to set a deadline on the calendar, like 5 months in advance. Like, this is when we're gonna quit our jobs, and no matter how much money we have, we're gonna go and we're gonna meet all these digital nomads and we're gonna freaking figure it out.